Hi, everybody.
Wait for it to come up there. Hello, everybody. We're going live and waiting for it to come up on this other screen. It's supposed to be a pretty rainy night tonight.
Maybe.
Give us a second. If you guys can see us, can you guys see us? It may just go it. There it goes. And there's a commercial. Oh, you can see in here.
Yeah.
Okay. So tonight we're supposed to get like 3.5 inches of rain, maybe 3.5. Ooh, I can hear myself on the screen. We're just doing this so we can see the chat better because we don't have the best vision. So we got a tablet down here. But yeah, 3 to 3.5 inches of rain tonight, and we're streaming through the Starlink satellite internet. So it has good signal right now, but if we get a thunderstorm that passes over, we may end up losing signal and the live stream may end because of the storm. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So anyway, what did you find today?
Oh, we have a huge. It's a tree that we could tell was dead, but it was a ginormous tree right across the pond. You could see it from the house. And this morning I came out and it was on the ground. So
yeah, we had like 2 oak trees, like really huge oak trees that died, I think like 3 years ago, and they have just been these huge standing dead trees. And one of them fell over, and it's just like it looks huge right across the pond. You see this huge oak tree down, and it's rotten pretty good. I don't know if there'll be any good firewood or anything out of it, but you also found something else today too.
Oh, yeah. So when I saw the tree, I also noticed a whole bunch of buzzards over there. And I thought maybe the tree had fallen and killed something. So I went for a walk and I found a duck carcass. So one of our ducks, something got it in the woods, not too far from the pond, but so we lost one duck. All the others are accounted for. So
yeah, we had 11 ducks, and this was one. So we had some hatch out last year. Like we had a duck that hatched out some eggs, and out of all those baby ducks, 2 lived. And one was a cross. It was a cross between a Peking and like a rowan duck. So it was like brown, but big and fat like a Peking, and it had a few white feathers. And that's the one that ended up getting killed. He's a very unique looking.
He was.
Yeah,
yes.
And he also had like did he have a white ring around his neck?
Yes, he looked like he had like a little
collar
bow tie or something on. Yeah. So we need to hatch some more ducks, I guess.
And ducks are messy. When you're raising baby ducks, they're messy. But it was on the opposite side of the pond, and most of our ducks will stay on this side where it's close to the house. So it was obviously got into the woods on the other side. We're not sure exactly what killed it. Could be, fox, coyote. Who knows what it was for sure. But that was one of the events that we went out and looked at it together here this evening before the live stream, before it got dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said that they had a fox get one of their ducks. Sorry, the chat goes so fast sometimes it's hard to. Teenage Farmer had a fox that got a few of their chickens. Yeah. And the fox is gone now. That's good.
Yeah. Our worst thing that killed chickens was a mink that we had get in a chicken coop like, I don't know, it was probably 3-4 years ago. And it killed like half our chickens in one night. And we had coons and foxes, other things get our chickens. But the ducks, we seem to only lose the ducks in the wintertime when the pond freezes. And they have nowhere to go. So something can walk out onto the ice and get them. And this is one of the rare times that something got them just because they were in the woods on the other side.
Yeah, somebody asked if we had cameras on our property, and we do have trail cams, but it was not where a trail cam was. So
yeah, and I haven't pulled the cameras for a while and seen what's on there.
But we've got bobcats.
Yeah, we'll get bobcat pictures sometimes. Mostly coyotes is what we see. Yep.
A couple people have asked about your tractor. Any plans for the engine front end of the Alice Chalmers?
So the last video that we posted, I was out there working on the Alice Chalmers tractor. It's been torn apart for a year, and I need to get it back together. And my plan right now is just to get the back end of it done. And I do plan on painting the back end of the tractor. So it'll look really weird for a little while. Like it'll look half new and half old. But my plan is next winter, I'm gonna try to pull it back in next winter and like go through the front part of the tractor and try to get it, maybe work on the engine a little bit, try to get it running a little bit better, fix some oil leaks and some stuff that's happening, and then repaint the front half of the tractor. So it's kind of like a half now and half later kind of plan for the Alice Chalmers, but it's definitely it's something that just needs to be done. So I know there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to see those videos because they're mechanical and they're not as entertaining of videos, but I just kind of got to get through it, and I got to get it done and get it out of the garage and fixed up and running. So it's just one of those things I got to kind of work through and get done, and then we'll move on to other things. We're actually going to get, I think we're going to get animals in the next 3 weeks or so. So it looks like we're probably, I hate to give it away, we'll get more steers in probably 3 weeks or so, and then we're looking at getting another animal as well.
Yes.
Yep. So that means I got to fix the fence. The fence that we took down to dig out that trash pit, I need to get some fence posts put in. We're going to put in a gate along that side to lead out to this big field that's in front of our property, and get that all closed in so that we have somewhere to keep the steers. So we'll be fixing that here pretty soon.
Is Rebecca ever going to be able to park her car in there? I actually like parking my car close to the house. So I am usually up and out at the barn at 5 in the morning, and I usually drive my car up there, and it's just so much easier when it's like freezing cold or raining to have the car right out the front door. So I like having it.
She says it's too far away. She says it's too far away so she parks, right next to the front porch. Yeah. So since she can unload her groceries and carry them right inside, and yeah. I don't think she wants to have to walk back and forth to the pole barn. So yeah. She likes it where it is.
I do. I like it. Somebody asked if Chewy's still being a trouble child. Always.
Actually, today I went and I took him hay after I got home from work, and he immediately started to try to headbutt me. So yeah, he was being. We're talking about Chewy the goat, yeah, right?
Yeah.
So he tried to headbutt me, and I wasn't putting up with it. I just kind of pushed him back with his horns and kind of picked him up a little bit, and then he fainted, and he fell over kind of on his side, and he fainted long enough that I could get the bale and the feeder and get the wire off of it and everything before he tried again. But he kind of gave up after that. But he's always a pain, being a billy goat. I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Tony Hargrove said, how's the fish situation in the pond?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask about the fish here lately. We really haven't done anything new to check it. We just the aerators have stayed on through the wintertime. And we know that there's baby fish in there. I actually went and I ordered fish to stock the pond with. I think I ordered like 400 to 500 fish to stock the pond with. I need to find that receipt because I need to have that. But it's like April 15th. April 15th. It's one of those fish trucks, if you've ever seen that before. They will come to a store, and basically they will count out your fish, and then they'll put them in a container that you have full of water. So I've got I got some bluegill, some hybrid bluegill. I think I got some red ear and catfish. And we're going to stock the pond with that. Now, the big problem that I found out is we had the vegetation problem on the pond. So it was just covered in duckweed. And that's what we were trying to get rid of with the aeration system, is try to get some oxygen in the water, maybe help with some of the duckweed problem we had. Well, everybody says you need to put grass carp in there so that they will eat the vegetation, right? Well, they would not sell grass carp. And I asked, and I'm like, why aren't grass carp for sale? And they said, oh, they're like illegal or something. You can't get them. I'm like, what? So I Google it and I look, and in Illinois, they've made it a law that you cannot put carp in your pond unless you have a permit from the state. So now you can only go to only places that will do that permitting process. And I find that that's probably going to be difficult. I need them to put in the pond for the vegetation. So I'm going to have to do some searching to try to find one of these places to put grass carp in my pond. And I think we'll have to get a permit, and then they may actually have to come here and put them physically in my pond to show that I didn't put them in a Illinois waterway. And I think a lot of this has to do with don't want carp in rivers, probably more Asian carp than grass carp, but it is making it kind of difficult to address the whole problem, with the vegetation. So everybody over and over, you need to throw grass carp in there. Well, I'm going to try, but the state is not making it easy. It's kind of crazy because they're sterile. When you buy them, they're like a sterile grass carp. Mm-hmm. So they're made not to reproduce and populate. So when you put them in there, it's not like they're going to, overpopulate and cause a problem. They're sterile fish. And I don't know, this it's just a rule Illinois has, and it's going to definitely make it hard to find a fishery and to be able to go through that and get that done. But we do plan on stocking the pond with fish.
Yeah, and David Richter asked if the pond was spring fed, which it is.
Yes. So it overflows all year round. So this summer, everybody's ponds around here got way down. Like there's a little pond. It's not very. I don't think it's very deep, but it was like way down to where it was just like a puddle. It seemed like. And then there was the one down on the. Remember the one with the pontoon boat?
Yeah.
Had a pontoon boat in this little pond, and it was like this because it was completely. The pond had went out, and it had just basically sat there on the ground. And everybody's ponds was down. Ours was still completely full. And that's because of that spring. And in the wintertime, even when the pond's frozen, it constantly flows. So we're kind of blessed. I guess you'd call that being blessed. We're blessed with having always having water, in the pond, and it's always flowing.
Gary Britton, he's talking to a TYM dealer, and he wants to know how you like your T654.
Well, I love my T654, and so for people who may not be aware of it, that tractor was supplied to me by TYM, and I have a partnership with TYM, so they allowed me. I got to have that tractor for 2 years, and that's up in April. And I just want to kind of go through this for transparency's sake. So. Part of the whole deal was I basically had to make videos with the tractor and demonstrate it. That's all I had to do is I just basically had to use the tractor and demonstrate it. I didn't have to try to sell the tractor or anything, try to promote it. I just needed to show it. And that worked out perfect for me because I needed a tractor that was more reliable than the ones that I had, one that was more capable, really, and one that was big enough to do a round baler. And it has worked out fantastic. At the beginning, I didn't know what to think of a TYM. I never had one before, but it has worked out perfectly. I definitely love the tractor. And part of that deal, so that deal is coming to an end. So the way that partnership worked is I had to make 2 videos a month for 2 years, 48 videos demonstrating the tractor. I bet you. I wouldn't be surprised if I have close to 60 videos with that tractor or 80. I mean, I just use it every day. So I didn't want to count my chickens before they hatch. So in all transparency, when that deal is over, because they could have stopped the deal, I could have stopped the deal. It could have got canceled at any point in time. They could have took the tractor back. So everybody was happy, I guess. I was happy. So now when the deal is over with, and I've completed my portion of the deal, when that's done and over with, as long as I completed the contract, I get to keep the tractor. So that tractor is going to stay here on the property, and I'm going to continue to use it. So I have no plans on getting rid of it. It has done a really good job, and it is I've been definitely happy with it. Now, there's a lot of places that it's having a cab tractor is really nice. I have found out there's a lot of places that it just don't want to fit in there. Having a bigger tractor, it does get a little tight in a few places. That's probably the only downside is just is that I can't get in the goat pen, for instance. I can't get in the carport there. The cab is too tall to get in there. That's probably really been the only downside, is just in the really tight spots. I just can't quite fit in.
Yeah. Mallard 5 Farmhouse is here. Hi, CJ and Kelsey. I love your channel.
So that's how Rebecca got the what do you call that?
Speckled.
Your speckled Sussex, the new chicks we got. So we ordered those in the mail, and we were supposed to get 5 of those, and we were supposed to get 5 of like a Delaware.
Yeah.
And so the way that worked out, when you mail order those, if one's not available, you can kind of choose what to do. And we said, well, if one's not available, just give us the other one. So the Delaware wasn't available, so they gave us 10 of the speckled Sussex. And then
we lost
we
one.
lost one like about the second day. And then everything's been fine since then. They're very flighty. Like they almost look like they're going to fly out of the
Yeah, they're hard
trough.
to catch, and every time I go to fill their feeder or water, they jump really, really high. I'm way behind. I was trying to go back and catch some.
I asked if Miss Maggie's okay. Miss Maggie is actually...
She's mad at me right now.
Might be able to move Rebecca. You might be able to see her.
Oh.
She's right there. Right there. She got a bath. Rebecca gave her a bath
Yes.
right before we got on here.
She doesn't like baths at all.
So she's mad.
Yeah.
She's mad right now because she got a bath.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Do we have mosquito issues with the pond? I think
No. I don't think so. Now there is a I don't know if we had any mosquito issues this summer.
No, not that I noticed. Not that I remember.
I don't think I don't really remember that even being a problem this year. Now there is an overflow. What do you call it? It's like a sediment pond. So when it comes off of the fields in the south, it goes to this little pool in the woods, and then it overflows into our pond. Now that's kind of a stagnant little pool, and it's almost only like 6 inches deep or 12 inches deep. It's like a frog pond. It's mostly just a frog pond back there. Now that could probably have some mosquitoes back there growing off of that, but not off the normal pond itself.
What state are we in? We're in Illinois, unfortunately. Are we getting rid of the goats? Yes. So we are going to end up getting rid of the goats. Finny should be due, I think it's April 9th. It's right after Easter. So that'll be like, I think April 9th is the first day if she went 150 days from the first day we put her in. So after she has the babies, then we'll get them registered, and then we'll just post the group. Hopefully, maybe somebody will take all of them as a group, but we're going to be getting a different animal, so
Yeah.
yeah, more purposeful animal.
So Dale Wallace said it's raining up at his house now, and it just started to rain here. I can start to hear it. It's starting to rain here. So like I said, if you weren't here at the beginning of the video, it is supposed to storm tonight here, and we're running off the Starlink satellite. So if it gets really bad storming, we'll lose satellite signal. We'll lose internet if it storms real bad. So then the live stream will be over because of the storm. So just keep that in mind if we go
Dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any plans to get a sawmill? He would love to.
I think they're cool. I love watching sawmill videos. Finally got to meet Nathan from Out of the Woods. He has a great sawmill channel. Got to meet him down at the tractor show. And me and him have talked on the phone several times before. And I just think that sawmill stuff's amazing. Now, I don't have the time. I know there's no way I have the time to even try to think about that. And I don't think I have enough. I'd have to find alternative ways to get logs. I don't think there's enough woods and logs on our property to be able to keep one going. I'd have to buy in logs. So I like the idea. In fact, I've got a place picked out in my mind exactly where one would go. But right now, that's definitely not going to happen, at least for several years. So,
Teenage farmer asked how the hayfield's looking. They let their cows out to grass a few days ago, and things are greening up. We walked out there today. And
Yeah, the new hayfield is very green. The one that's got mostly clover in it.
Yeah.
It's very, very green. And the other field is greening up. Yeah.
A couple people have asked about solar. Are you gonna get more solar batteries? Or are you still putting solar panels on the roof?
So I actually just signed away some money today for some more solar panels. And I've bought several things this week for solar, and trying to get all those little things. You got to really think about these things. I mean, it's kind of one thing, like if I was just going to go out there and do it, but when you try to do it on a video, you miss like one little piece and you got to stop the video and come back later to finish it. So I'm like trying to think of every little connection, everything that I need, every little junction box. So I ordered several things this week for the rooftop solar. And then last week we actually went to Menards and we got a whole trailer full of lumber and drywall and stuff because we're going to frame out the bathroom in the pole barn and a small room for the solar power. So we bought all the framing so that we can frame out the 2 rooms in the pole barn, bathroom and power room. And that's probably something I'm going to work on this weekend, especially since it's going to rain for the next 2 days.
Seems like every weekend here it's been raining. So
Yes, yeah, it has. It seems like every weekend is ruined with rain. We've actually talked about that at work. It's like every time it comes to the weekend, it's raining when you're off work. So
a couple of people have asked about the barn. Are we going to paint it? How's the water issue in the barn?
that's probably terrible right now.
Yeah.
It will be in a day or so. It'll be really bad. It was puddled up a little bit.
Yeah,
back there,
we walked back and got the turkeys, and it was puddled where the tracks of the tractor were.
Yeah, I rutted it up pretty good. And everybody said that I rutted it up, and I did. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I had a good way of like leveling that back out. Like I don't have like a roller. Well, I have a roller. I have like a, we call it cultipacker, but I don't think that's heavy enough to squish them back out. And then I don't have a tiller to like go back through that and try to, break that up. And I need something. I need something to be able to take those ruts back out and level the barnyard back out. But the back of the barn we haven't touched yet. So it's coming, I think. I just really, now that it's wet, you really can't do much with it, I don't think. But it'll probably be this summer. I got a lot of stuff on my plate, and I think that it'll probably be this summer. Now, will we paint it? The plan is, yes, to paint it. It will probably be a red barn one day. Isn't that what color you picture, red and white? You tell me what you picture.
Wood. Natural wood.
You just want to keep it the old wood?
I like the wood barns, but I know to protect it, I think it needs painted. So
a lot of the old wood is like oak and walnut. That's what. It's funny because when it looks different when you cut it, but after it ages in the weather, it all looks gray. But so it's pretty resilient to the weather. But the problem is when I go around the backside of the barn and I finish it, I'm not going to have oak and walnut to put on there and make it look the same. So I'm probably going to end up using that T111 barn siding, the stuff we used in the workshop. That's basically the plywood with the little lines on it. They sell that as a treated version, and I think that's really probably what you want, so that it lasts longer. Is it'll be like a treated plywood that's got the little lines on it, and that's probably what's going to go around the back of the barn. And my personal opinion is it's not going to match the barn, so the best thing to do would be paint it red, and then everything would kind of blend together and look better. But that's what I pictured in my mind. We're obviously not on the same page.
okay. Somebody want to know what size wire you're running back to the transfer switch from the solar panels.
I'm still haven't bought the wire. So the transfer switch, the transfer switch is what's down in the basement that feeds that one panel. That's the transfer switch. And it'll be whatever the inverter size is, but I'll probably make it bigger, if that makes any sense. I'll make it bigger for expansion because I'll want it to be bigger later. if that makes any sense. So I'm going to oversize the wire so that so when I build this solar system or power system, it's going to probably start somewhat small, and then it'll be added on through the years. So I want to be able to make it where you can add more to it and make it more powerful, and be able to expand it. So I'll probably upsize the wire. So that's one thing that you don't have to change in the future. So I don't know what size yet.
A couple of people have mentioned me doing cooking videos, which Evan says that all the time, but
I try to get her like, hey, people want to know about this sourdough you're making all the time. Right?
Yeah, and today I fed my sourdough, and I actually want to show it because I love looking at it. So I don't know if you can see the bubbles in it.
It'd be hard to see. Let me try.
But
can you see there you can see the bubbles.
Yeah, I love it. I love seeing those bubbles. But anyways, I fed it today, so I feed it every 1 to 2 weeks, just depending, and then I usually make bread every week.
Yeah, so when we went on vacation last year, we went to Branson, and she bought this sourdough starter at the Baker Creek Seed. We went to that Baker Creek Seed company out in the country.
Dehydrated.
It was this, dehydrated starter. She tried starting and then it didn't really work. And she kept on feeding it, and you kept on trying to supercharge it and all this stuff. And eventually she got sourdough. So I don't know if it occurred naturally from her just trying to make it, or if it was actually from the stuff from Baker Creek. But it took you probably a month to get your starter really going. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And now that she's got it going, I think it took another month or so after that, and it really got to be where it's like kind of stretchy, and it kind of has the good consistency to it. And she makes a loaf every week.
Yeah, and I've given starters to probably 5 people now. So when I feed it, I'll just put some starter in another jar, and I pass it around to other people so they can start their own. So
yeah, so go ahead and get your baking pan out, will you? Go show that real quick.
Yeah.
But so we found these baking pans, and can you remember the name?
It's USA Bake Pan. They're a Pullman loaf pan.
And they make an actual full-size loaf like you buy in the store. So here's the bread that she made, and you can see, I mean, that's looks like a regular loaf of bread. And so she's got a half loaf.
So there's a half loaf. That's usually what I make for us. And then I have a full loaf. So that would be like a store-bought size loaf.
Yeah, USA pan is what they are. And then they just kind of fall right out when you're done baking them.
Yeah.
And but she makes a loaf every week, and I use it for grilled cheese. I make a lot of grilled cheese, and I had grilled cheese with bacon a few times this week, and then a lot of times I'll do sandwiches. So she'll cook. She cooks a chicken every week, and then she'll shred that into chunks or whatever, and then a lot of times I'll make like a chicken sandwich and use the bread on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of chicken, a lot of bread we go through. Somebody asked how much starter do I usually use in any one recipe. For our half loaf, I usually half a cup to a cup, basically. Anything I've made, it's always about half a cup to a cup. So I always have tons of starter left over.
She tried making crackers. There's all these recipes to
with the discard.
With what you have left over. Yeah, the discard.
When you feed it, yeah.
And she tried making crackers last week, and they ended up being too thick.
Yeah.
So they were very hard, little crackers or whatever. They were
like tack.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They weren't. They didn't turn out quite right. They're a little too hard.
I keep working on it.
But she keeps on trying new recipes. She's made cinnamon rolls with sourdough, and yeast rolls with sourdough, and pizza dough. Pizza dough is my favorite, probably.
Yeah. Yep. Has Rebecca ever told you not to do a project? I don't think so.
Nah, she usually lets me kind of do what I want to do, and he
has good ideas. He does a good job. So
sometimes she's the idea person. She comes up with an idea, has no idea how to do it, but she wants me to do something that ends in this result. And she's like, "Oh, you can do that," and they're like, "How?" And then I got to try to figure out what she wants me to do. Can't think of one lately, but You always come up with some good ones sometimes.
I think out of the box because I'm not mechanically inclined. So.
Yeah. So I had this weekend we'll have a video coming out that we did last weekend. We're kind of a little behind on the videos. The tractor takes up a lot of time, but she helped me clean out some of the fence row, and she hasn't helped me yet on this because she is super allergic to poison oak, poison ivy. She will swell up so much that she almost has to go to the hospital. Normally we have to go to like one of those, I don't know, urgent care thing and get a steroid shot to take down the swelling.
Usually multiple and steroid pills, and
yes,
it's not fun. So
she helped me clean out the fence row this weekend, and then we had vines all over the trees.
Yep.
One of them I actually cut down, and the vines were attached. It actually almost fell on Rebecca. It was supposed to fall this way, and then the vines caught, and it fell like sideways, and it was a small tree. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it basically came down to right about hitting Rebecca and the vines.
Goes into the washing machine, so I didn't have to touch them. So that was good.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we. Okay.
Yeah, it looked like we messed up because we're watching it on the screen here.
Yeah. Oh, somebody wanted me to repeat where I got the pans. So the pans, they're Pullman loaf pans from USA.
USA Pan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's USA. Yeah, USA Pan. I actually got them off Amazon. They're nonstick, so you can find them on there if you just type in USA.
USA Pan.
USA Pan.
And
they'll come
Pullman.
up.
This
And it's
Pullman
the
is
Pullman
this
loaf
style.
pan. Yeah, and then you can get the small loaf or the full loaf. So, somebody was asking about LED. Somebody put some
On the LED barn light. Oh, the ones from the strip lights, the long ones. That's the same type that I use for my grow lights. And I actually ended up buying some more grow lights too. So I just bought some more of that same brand. They're sitting over there in a box right now because we're going to set up a second grow shelf. We're going to set up some more area to grow seedlings this year because that one shelf just ain't quite big enough.
Any plans or timeline for the next clean out project? Not really.
Talking about like
Clean up?
like the whole property cleanup? That's just nonstop. Not right now. We're just going to start piling. Like when we were cleaning out the fence row the other day, we found more junk as we were cleaning out that fence row in areas that I had already brush hogged, like in the ground. We found some stuff, and so we're just going to start piling up the metal and the trash and wait till we got enough to finally haul it off or get another dumpster.
Eddie, hopefully I don't butcher your name. Bouchette.
Yeah.
A 21-year combat vet. Said he teared up watching when we found our hayfield video dead. Thank you for your service, and we appreciate that you watch us. Maggie's getting irritated.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to hold her.
Well, she's barking at the chair. She's like half blind, okay?
Yeah, she is.
So I think she was looking for a toy. She thought it was in the chair, I think.
Will you use the raised garden again or go to plowed rows?
So there's 3 raised beds that are in kind of the middle of the garden, not on the perimeter. They're coming out. And it's been so rainy, I haven't been able to chance to even start with that. So they're going to come out, and then the middle of the garden is just going to all be fabric. But we're going to pull it all up, add compost and wood ash and maybe a few other things to it, try to till it in, and before we put the fabric back down.
We haven't really done anything with the garden yet this year, so.
Except the seeds we started. And all those seeds are like coming up. The onions are like the slowest. Seems like it takes about 2 weeks for the onions to really come up, but the broccoli, cauliflower, all that stuff is up, and we're the point where you need to thin it, because there's 2 or 3 in each container coming up. So I'm not sure who sent me those seeds, but they've seemed to work fine. So.
Yeah. Adam Leake said, have you ever painted anything before, like you're planning to paint the tractor? Anything that big?
Well, I mean, I painted that gravity wagon last year. I mean, it's a gravity wagon. I mean, it's not like it needed to be precise. Um, I've played around with stuff, not in that size, I guess. I had like a little detail gun, and I had painted some stuff with it. So I mean, no, by no means an expert. So this will be a learning curve. I'm not looking for perfect. Okay, homestead perfect, right? That's what we're going for. Yeah, orange is good enough, pretty much. As long as it turns out orange, I'm probably happy.
Several people have asked about me getting horses. So horses is the one animal that I do not want. I don't mind petting them occasionally, but when I was a kid, I grew up in Florida, and we were petting horses, and one bit me really good. So ever since then, horses are not my thing. I have ridden horses before, but it's just not an animal I want. They're too big, and yeah, big teeth. So
Big teeth. You did this. So did it bite your shoulder?
yeah, it bit my shoulder. So yep, it wasn't fun. Do you use any geothermal?
Oh, our heating system? We don't have geothermal. We just have a heat pump. My parents have geothermal at their house, but no, we just went with a standard heat pump. Especially with building the house, it was just kind of the easy, cheaper route to kind of go. You know, when you're trying to build a house, try to keep the cost down. Yeah.
Wondering if you have any plans to buy more land, and maybe as you get closer to being full-time on the farm. We would like to.
Yeah, I mean, so we were actually offered some land once, but it was the wrong type of land, if that makes any sense. So we were offered some farmland that abuts up next to us, and we ended up turning that down. We thought about it for about a week, but it was like farmland, and
We'd rather have woods.
yeah. So it's kind of funny. When we went to start this journey, where we saved money for a few years, you know, and it was called our Cabin in the Woods Fund, because our idea was we were going to buy a wooded property and have a cabin in the woods, and it was going to be more of an outdoor, I don't know, it wasn't going to be what it is today. Our lives have morphed into the property that we've bought, and so the property to the one other side of us, our creek off of our pond flows into that, and as soon as it leaves our property, it turns to like rocks and like stone. It gets all rocky, and it's real pretty, and it's about half woods and about half farm fields. And if there was any property we were going to buy, I don't think we'll ever get the opportunity, it would be the property to our east of us. But I think the first thing we're worried about is, one, getting our property paid off, and then or our mortgage paid off, and getting what we have developed and fenced in, and getting it where we're using what we have first before we look at anything else.
Somebody asked about what we do with the goats. Are they for meat, dairy, or pets? They are pets. That's why they are going to go.
So back to the Cabin in the Woods Fund, right? So my idea was I was gonna live more of a hunting, fishing type lifestyle, and I would be doing more outdoor cooking and more camping, because we camped all the time. I thought it was gonna be more of a camping experience.
It was.
But she wanted, yeah, it was. We lived in a camper for the first year. So she wanted animals. She's the one that wanted animals, and she wanted to have goats. It's like, if we're moving the country, I'm getting goats. She always wanted to have goats.
Yeah.
And so that kind of started us down that whole path. Like, our intention was to not have, at least in my mind, I didn't picture us having animals and having a farm, and everything has kind of turned into that, because our land had pastures and it had fields and stuff like that. It just kind of made sense to use the land that we had. It just kind of made sense to kind of go that route. Plus, she loved the animals, and now she really loves having the steers. And we haven't even talked about what you really want.
Well, a few people have asked how many steers we're planning on getting this year.
So we're getting rid of the goats, and we're going to replace them with another animal, and then we're going to have the pigs, and we're going to have the steers. we don't have enough pasture yet, but I'm really thinking about starting to let them go other places that aren't necessarily permanently fenced in, and using a lot more hot wire this year. But I think we're only going to get 3. I think.
Yeah.
Just because we just don't have we don't have we didn't have enough to graze them last year, so we had to keep supplementing them with hay all year, and we're still where we don't have enough fenced in to support that amount of livestock. So we're just going to have probably 3 this year, especially with the additional livestock that we're getting. Once we get the 12 acres in the front fenced in, that'll probably change. We'll be able to have quite a bit more, and then the more areas we get fenced in that we do have, because we got a total of 42 acres here, and all we got to do is just keep on adding fence, and then the more we get permanently fenced, the more we can have, more animals we can have.
Yes.
Wait, well, hold on. Let's go back to.
What I want.
So she's been doing some thinking. So we thought about starting a herd and getting some heifers.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't really have the grass to support that just yet. So she's decided she wants something else now.
Yeah. So I really want a Jersey heifer that I can keep here, and I'd prefer it to be a bottle baby or just weaned.
Like a young heifer Jersey.
Yes.
So she can kind of raise it and get it to where it's familiar with us, and then it'd probably be a year or 2, 3 down the road before you.
Yeah, I figured 2 or 3 years before I think about breeding and milking, because it's kind of hard to do with our work schedules. So it'll be easier when we have a little more time. So. But they are so hard to find, and they're so expensive. So.
Well, and then she tries to post it on groups on Facebook, and she gets people from South Carolina and all these people, and you're like posting in a Southern Illinois group, and you get people from 5 states away to contact you, and then I think you get a lot of scammers just trying to see if they can get your money.
And they show me cows that I know are not Jerseys.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, that's a Jersey. You're like, oh, that is definitely a Holstein. That is not a Jersey. I'm like, quit talking to that guy. He's trying to scam you. He doesn't even know what he has. He's just sending you pictures.
Yeah.
But she really would like to have when the reason we're saying a Jersey is because we want a docile milk cow that she can have as her pet, that she can eventually breed and we can milk and be able to make cheese and different things from it later on. So, but that would be her. She loves having the steers, so she wants her own cow, and so the Jerseys are supposed to be very docile, and that's the reason we're kind of saying that. So that's what we're looking for. We couldn't find any locally. We're going to probably have to end up going, across state lines or something to try to find one. So that's what we're looking for.
Well,
but we're only probably willing to go to like a neighboring state. We're not going to probably drive to Alabama.
I see a bunch in like Kentucky, Tennessee area.
Kentucky's neighboring.
Yeah. So.
But we haven't said that. I've thought about mentioning that on the channel. Hey, we're looking for a Jersey, a young
if anybody
bottle
can hook me
or
up,
just weaned.
Anybody have any? How close are we to retiring? And someone want to know if we plan to just do the farm full time. That would be the dream for sure.
Right now, it's I would quit. My plan, as long as YouTube is still around and I'm still making videos, in 4 years I turn 50, and that's when I would plan on quitting my job and just trying to make videos and then do all the stuff out here full time. And then possibly she would too. Yeah.
So, Del Wallace, he wanted to know if you bought any new or used implements for the tractor. He said there was a young farmer auction last weekend in town.
Oh yeah. So I looked at that. I didn't even bid on anything at the auction. Trying to think what I've been watching fuel tanks. I have a fuel tank here I need to fix up, but I've been watching some fuel tanks, and I don't know if there's really much I need anymore. I think I've got about everything I need. So I didn't end up bidding on anything. But I do know there's a farm auction up there. I looked at it. I looked at it all.
He looks at every farm auction, so he's always looking at auctions.
Yeah. Yep.
Some people must have just tuned in because they were asking about the pond, but if you go back to the beginning of this video, we did talk about the pond.
Yep.
So.
We're restocking April 15th, so sometime after April 15th, there ought to be a video when we restock it. I'm going to try to, see, last time I used pond water. I used pond water to get the fish. This time I'm going to try to use nice clear water to get the fish, so maybe I can put a camera in there and actually show the fish a little bit better, but look for it toward the end of April. Yep.
Would you be interested in mini cows as pets?
Speaking of auctions, there was a mini cow auction last weekend.
Yes.
And she was looking at it.
Yes. So I always log in, but
this goes back to having pets.
I just like to watch, but they're really, really expensive. It's insane. Like some of those mini cows go for like $20,000. And I think the cheapest one I saw was $4,000 or $5,000, and that is definitely out of our price range. So no matter how much I love them, there's no way I'd buy one for that much.
Yeah, it was like she's like showing them to me, like she's gonna get permission. Like, yeah, just go ahead and buy a cow.
They're so cute.
A mini cow that ain't gonna do anything, but just look cute.
I said we could let people take pictures with them, and we could take it.
She wants a petting zoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the crazy thing about it is like there was a price on the auction, and the males were a bull. But if you wanted them to stay a bull, you had to pay double the auction price, or else they were gonna castrate them. So whatever you bid on that bull, if it was $3,000, you had to pay $6,000 if you wanted it to stay a bull, and to be able to breed it and make your own mini cows. It's a racket. I mean, it's expensive stuff.
Hey, Brandy Whitney, just want to know if we're gonna have hay for sale.
We'll see.
We'll let you know.
It's kind of like more like whether the baler will tie the square bales or not. I mean, if it ties square bales, we may have some to sell.
What's the acreage to steer ratio?
I mean, ideally, we'd probably want to have like 1.5, probably at least for just a steer, maybe 1.5 acres. We'd probably be okay with, but that's if they're on it, just them, nothing else. Probably 2. I think around here, most of the time, people would tell you 2 acres per animal, so somewhere in there.
Oh, somebody asked a couple times about the purple quilt on the chair. I want to know who made it. My mom actually made that for me.
Yeah. Rebecca's favorite color is purple.
It is. So my favorite color is purple, and my mom made this for me for Christmas, I think last year. So she likes to sew and quilt. So, and then we have a quilt that a viewer sent us.
Yeah, we had an actual viewer knit this quilt and send us to. This is like one of the nicest gifts we have ever gotten from a viewer. That is just crazy. Look at that.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a full size, like we would call it throw to. And Rebecca has it on her chair, covers up with it.
And she did these colors because it's the same color as our pole barn.
Yeah, she modeled it after the pole barn.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Bobby. It was the one that made that, and that's like the nicest gift we've ever got. I mean, that's when somebody hand makes something that is especially nice gift, because there's a lot of time and effort into that. So
yes,
it's very nice of her to do that.
Oh, somebody Pat caps 40 acres per cow here in Wyoming.
Yeah, I mean, their grass is a lot thinner, and like here, the grass, you can get 3 cuts of hay on it. Like out in Wyoming, they get like 1. So I mean, they just don't have the growth that we have here.
Wyoming's pretty though. Yep. If you ever need small amounts of ag lime for your garden, he has a 1-ton dump truck. We have isn't lime what I accidentally put on the strawberries?
Yeah, she put lime on strawberries.
Yeah.
So I told her, so we had ants in the strawberries. I said, we'll get you some of the diatomaceous earth and put it on there, and that'll get the ants.
They look similar. They look very similar in the bag.
She goes and we have buckets in the one's barn lime and one is diatomaceous earth. Well, she grabs the barn lime. She puts it on the strawberries like acidic soil. And of course, the barn lime raises the pH, pretty much killed off our strawberries. They They were done for the year after that. So Rebecca's green thumb is a little bit blue. I don't know. It's not green. It's not. She's not got the greenest thumb.
I can harvest and I'm good at weeding.
She likes to weed. Is that
Yeah.
weird? Like that's
It's
actually
like
pretty
cleaning.
awesome, really.
So I like cleaning, and it's kind of like cleaning.
Yeah, she likes to clean. So then it kind of she likes them. Yeah, that fits.
Yes.
You also like to mushroom hunt and find things. You like searching for.
I went out looking today because it was 65 degrees. Like it felt so humid out. So I follow mushroom pages, and I've seen there have been some in Illinois. So I went looking, but I didn't find any yet. So if anybody finds any in Illinois, let me know. Will we try another tom turkey? No, I don't think so.
Well, we would like to get rid of the turkey. We can mention that too, I guess. We would like to get rid of the turkey since we just have the hens and they're just laying eggs. Like if somebody had Royal Palm Tom and they wanted some hens, that would work out perfect for them. So we raised them because she thought they were pretty. Goes back to the cute pets kind of thing. And
we have to try animals and see what
we ended up hatching out all those eggs and we ended up had to butcher a bunch of them, right? And they just did not turn out to be meaty at all. Like they were like a meat chicken had more meat than these turkeys. They were just long and skinny, and it just doesn't make sense, I don't think, for us to raise them. So we're trying. One of our goals this year was to try to get animals that kind of had more purpose, made more sense. And that I think we would like to, if we can find somebody, to sell the turkeys to, we'd probably sell them to them, and just be done with them. We actually have meat turkeys coming that we're going to raise this year. She wanted a bunch for friends and family, to sell to people or give to people or whatever. We got like 20 turkeys coming.
Yep.
Sometime in July. So we will have some turkeys. They'll be a lot bigger too.
What kind of fabric do you use in your garden? I've seen that asked a couple times.
Yeah, I use it's Sunbelt DeWitt or DeWitt Sunbelt. That's the brand and model name or something. So it's DeWitt, and it's a 3.2 ounce fabric, and it's a woven ground cover, and that's what I use. In fact, I bought new this year because I'm going to try to lay my plant spacing out a little bit better. And I bought a 15-foot wide piece. So that's going to be fun to wrestle if it's windy. But it must come folded in half, like where they fold it in half and then roll it up, because the roll came as like, what would that be, 7 foot? Tall. Maybe it's folded in 3 because maybe it's only like 5 or 6 feet tall. And it shipped on a regular FedEx truck, like a regular delivery truck. I thought when I ordered it, I'm like, I'm going to end up having to pay freight for this 15-foot wide roll, and it ended up coming as kind of a smaller roll, and it'll be interesting to put that on the garden, and we'll see how that works out. But instead of us trying to wrestle like, how many do you think there was? There's probably like 10 or 15 strips. And put 10 or 15 strips down and fight the wind. This way we'll only have to fight maybe 3 and rearrange them every year to get your rotation in. So hopefully it actually works out better as we're moving the fabric around. We'll see.
Somebody want to know if someone in our areas has ever walked up to us because they saw us on YouTube. Have you ever had someone walk up to you in the same area as you? Say they saw you on YouTube.
Couple times.
Yeah, a couple times. Not very often.
I had a lady at Rural King hit me up the other day. I was like in my truck looking at my phone, and she like at my window like, I know you. And she had to take a selfie to send her husband because kind of rub it in his face. I guess he's the one that watches me. She knows it, so she sent it to him. I thought that was kind of funny.
I saw a question on here, or they said Rebecca's better at fishing, but who's better at shooting?
Well, I am.
We're very competitive.
We are.
And we used to go out shooting together a lot. We don't hardly have time to do that anymore. He's definitely better with a pistol.
Yeah.
For sure.
I used to do a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but I used to shoot in some different what do you want to call it?
Competition.
Yeah. And so we have these little, we would normally, when we would shoot, it'd be just these little, we have little 22 pistols. And she's got a purple one.
That I built.
And we would shoot, like, I got some stickers. They're like little 1-inch stickers, right? They're like little orange stickers. And basically we would see how many shots you could get on that little 1-inch sticker is what we would do.
Yeah, we had fun shooting together. But he's probably the better shot. I do pretty good with a rifle, I think.
She's done good on hunting deer. The deer she shot the last couple years have been like over 100 yards with a shotgun, 20 gauge shotgun slug.
Do we have any problem with deer eating our plants? Actually, today I went out up by the billy goats because I was looking for mushrooms up there.
Yeah.
And I saw that the deer have been eating the little baby persimmon trees that we have. They've been chewing them all up. Yeah.
Yeah, our little persimmon grove, we just stopped mowing around it, and we probably got like 100 persimmon trees that have naturally grown around that. And I really need to like dig them up and like give them away to people or something, and at least see if somebody can, and thin them out a little bit. The idea was to let the grove self-expand, kind of reseed itself and make a bigger persimmon grove, but it's more like it's very thick. It's like a little jungle of persimmon trees. But yeah, there was a deer up there. When I went to work this morning, there was a deer right in our mailbox.
Yeah,
and they've been like in between the billy goats and where the steers were. I mean, they've been kind of on the driveway and stuff here lately. Like the deer have really been kind of in the yard, but they don't come up and eat the garden. So in the past, when we first planted the orchard, we have an orchard out here in our garden right next to the house, In the past, we had them come up and they'd scrape on the trees and they would eat the trees and stuff like that. But now that we put the pasture fence in and it's all fenced, so now it's the garden orchard and then it's a pasture fence, we do not have them get in the orchard or the garden anymore. Like we don't have any trouble with deer. Plus we got a dusk till dawn light out here and it's lit up, and it doesn't seem like we have deer come up at least and eat the orchard or the garden. So that's good that we don't have that problem anymore.
Let's see, did you see one? I saw one, though I forgot. Someone asked about if we knew how much wood we'd got. Or how much meat we'd gotten back. But we did do a video on that.
No, we didn't.
Oh, I thought
I didn't do a video like covering all of that. I don't have any of that like in front of me to tell you. It was a crazy amount. I mean, of beef and everything, and
yeah.
I think everything went great. The beef we went from like mostly grass fed last year to like grain fed this year, and I know a lot of people want the grass fed because of the healthier fat and stuff like that. But to me, the meat was just so much better grain fed. And I know I'm going to have people that's going to disagree with that, but it was just, there was a different flavor with the grass fed. It was a lot tougher meat. And like this, it is definitely like the steaks, they just melt like in your mouth. And the hamburger's way better. Even the hamburger on the grass fed had kind of almost an off flavor.
Like gamey.
And it was just, and you got like some hard pieces in the hamburger. Some of the fat was hard, and maybe that's the way we finished them. I'm not going to say every grass-fed steer is that way, but our first year raising them, that's the way it kind of turned out. And this last year, I think everything turned out fantastic. They were like the right weight. They were like 1,150 pounds up to about 1,300 pounds. They were. It just all turned out good. The pigs could have been a little bit bigger. I would have wished they were probably a little bit bigger, and we tried a new place this year, and the bacon was really good. I still haven't tried the hams yet. We're still trying to finish the pigs from last year. So it's kind of, we probably will not put any meat in our freezer this year because we've got to the point where we have plenty for us. So we're probably going to sell everything this year. And we probably have enough to last us for the next year and a half right now. So
Yeah. Teenage Farmer wants to know how much time you think you have in making one of your videos, from filming to editing and so on.
So depends on the video, of course. But so if you see us go out and we do a day working, that's probably 6 to 8 hours of us working out there doing something. Most of my videos is working videos, right? So it's probably 6 to 8 hours working, and then I probably got 3 to 4 hours in editing that video and then uploading it. So probably closer to 4 by the time you count the upload. And so you're getting close to that 10 to 12 hour mark on total time in a video. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much time that it takes to do all that. But there's a lot into it, especially because I want to try to make sure the video flows good, or the sound is right and even and not too loud. So yeah, there's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's what I do on the, so in case you guys don't realize, so just in case you guys don't know, so we film on the weekends. We will film tomorrow because it's Friday. I'm off on Fridays. I work 4 days a week. So we film Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I edit usually after work. When I get home from work and I eat supper, we put the animals up, and then I will edit of an evening on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. At least 2 or 3 of those days, I'll edit. And I'm very, what do you call it? I stay busy. You know, I don't sit around and watch a ton of TV. I just mostly stay busy.
Yeah. How's the wood pile this year? You must still have a lot of green wood left.
So the wood pile, from what we had that was dry, we've probably gone through half of that. Now all the stuff we've cut this year, from all the trees we cut down around the firewood shed and everywhere else, I've got it. A lot of that is still just sitting out there needing to be cut up. So I mean, so I don't know how much fresh wood we have, but we've probably gone through about half of what we had dry. So we still got enough wood that's dry for next year. So we're still sitting good on firewood. So, and then firewood shed, hopefully I'll get to fixing on it here later this year. Our priorities right now is kind of the tractor, the solar, and the fence line. That's kind of the 3 things we're working on right now.
Brian Thronberg, hey, maybe you can sell beef to local friends. Absolutely. You guys get a hold of me. You have my number.
Well, it's getting kind of late. We've been on here for an hour now. So
we have. It goes by so fast.
It does when you're answering questions and you're just kind of talking. So, yeah. So we do appreciate everybody getting on here and visiting with us. Sorry we couldn't answer everybody's questions.
I have to get up at 5 in the morning, so I got to go watch my niece. So, yeah.
Yep, I'll probably be working out in the pole barn since it'll be raining. So I'll either be working on the tractor, or I'm going to be framing in the bathroom and the solar power room in the pole barn. So that's our projects this weekend. But like I said, we'll have a video out Saturday of us cleaning out the fence row, and it's starting to look pretty good out there. That's for sure.
Still got a ways to go, but.
Yep. But we'll probably go ahead and end this live stream. So, anything else you want to mention?
No, thank you guys for coming and watching. I hope you guys have a good night, good day, depending on where you're at, I guess. So.
Yep, it was good seeing you guys.
Yep.
So, we'll see you in the next one.
Now we got to figure out how to shut it off.
I think it's the X.